Hey guys, what's going on? This is DJ TLM. You're watching DJ TLM TV. It's Monday, time for a new Q&A video, and today's question is, what's the key to freestyle DJing? Now, you may have heard me mention this before. I call my style freestyle DJing, and that's because I don't play with a prepared set or a playlist or a track list. And let me state right now that there's no good or bad right here. It is all good. If you like to freestyle, all good. If you like to prepare your sets from A to Z, all good. If you want to have a track list and do a little bit of freestyling in there, do what works for you, because you have to feel comfortable. That way you're going to deliver the best performance. So I received a question from someone called Niels, aka the engineer from the Netherlands. Big salute to all my people right here in the Netherlands. And he sent me a long story, little backstory in there. I'll just cut to the chase, and Niels, I will get back to you to answer the rest of the questions in the email. But the most important question was, what's the key to the success of freestyle DJing? Is it the knowledge of music, or is it having the courage to experiment in front of people? Well, he wanted to know because he didn't understand, how can you go with a track list and not prepare your transitions or cue points? Well, like I just stated, when I freestyle DJ, I don't even have a track list. But make no mistake, freestyle DJing doesn't mean that you do not prepare stuff. I most definitely will prepare stuff. I will prepare my music. So I will have cue points in all my tracks, because that allows me to work faster. I will have cue points at the first beat. I will have a cue point where the verse starts, so the singing or the rapping. If there's a cool break in there, I will have a cue point there. And in some tracks, I will even have loops prepared, because if I know that that's a cool piece to loop and to use for next transition, I will definitely have that in there. So there is preparation. You prepare your music. So freestyle doesn't mean that I go in there and there's nothing, no cue points. No. That's not what I mean. So you prepare music. If I go to a certain event and I know that they're expecting a certain type of music, I might make a special crate or special folders for that night, and I will go through my music and pick the songs that I know I want to play that night. And that's not going to be a track list. That's going to be a folder with maybe like whatever, 100 tracks or more in there. But that's going to be my go-to folder. I won't even stick to that folder. I might still go back to some of my other crates in Serato, but I will prepare so I don't have to search too much. I would do the same thing when I was playing with vinyl. I have a lot of vinyl. When I was playing at a party, I would not bring all this vinyl. No, I would go through the vinyl and I would pick songs that I knew I would want to play. That's also preparation. So there's a big difference between not preparing or freestyle DJing. Not the same thing right there. Let me give you a little backstory. The reason why I DJ the way I DJ is because I had to teach myself most of the stuff I know. Back when I learned how to DJ, I didn't have a mentor or teacher. You didn't have YouTube with instructional videos. I didn't even have videos with lessons. So I had to just experiment and try out. Of course, I had an advantage that I was drumming before I started DJing. So when I was like 13, 14, I used to drum. So that did give me an insight into the musical structure. So I already understood beats, bars, and phrases just by drumming. And I didn't even realize that I was using that knowledge when I started to play around with music. But that helped me learn how to mix a lot faster, because I understood the structure of music. But when I started to play in front of people, I just brought my music and I started to play. So, of course, that's freestyle, because it didn't even occur to me that I could prepare something to play in front of people. So I just started, and I found out quick enough, like I'm playing a track. If people don't like it and I play 2 more tracks that are in that same style, I will have an empty dance floor. So you learn how to anticipate and to read the crowd. And if you see that they don't like it, you try something else. So the way I became a DJ was through experimenting. So of course, I'm used to that style and I enjoy the freedom. When you use a track list, you don't have the same freedom, because you're going to stick to what you have. And imagine if you play that and people aren't liking it. If you do not know how to deviate and go to something else, you might have an empty dance floor. Most of the times you won't if you know what type of party you're going to, but I prefer that freedom. Like I said, there's no bad in here. But knowing your music is definitely very important. Let me tell you one more thing. Back in the days when I was DJing, I used to see a lot of DJs that had the BPM written on the sleeve of their records. Back then, I did not understand why they needed to know the tempo of the song. No clue. And the reason why I didn't understand is because I knew my music. If I was playing a certain track, in my head, I could already imagine a bunch of tracks that would fit. And like most of the times, like 95% of the times, they would fit, not just musically, but tempo-wise as well. Sometimes I would make a mistake. I would think like, oh, this is going to fit perfect. I'm going to grab that other track, and they would have like a 20 BPM difference. And then you realize like, oh, well, wait a minute. That isn't that as fast as I thought it was. But not until I started to play with like Final Scratch, or actually when I started with Serato, and I was organizing my crate, not by name, but I used BPM. That's when I realized like, oh, that's why they had it on the sleeve, because sometimes it can be a very good thing to know the tempo of your music. And now I use that style a lot. In my crates, most of the times I will have it organized by BPM, because if you're playing a track at a certain tempo, chances are that your next track, you want your next track to be in that same tempo range. So now I enjoy using that. Back then I didn't know, so I was going off feeling. So it all depends on how you learn. But in this case, we're talking about Niels, and you're used to playing with prepared sets, and you want to try freestyle DJing. So remember, freestyle DJing doesn't mean that you don't prepare your music. You just don't prepare a set. So no, you will not have a prepared transition, but you will have prepared cue points. And a lot of DJs like to have a cue point at the point where you start your transition. You can make those cue points, so when you have a track playing, you know where your transition needs to be. Try it out. At home at first, try it out, do some freestyle DJing. Prepare your music, know your tracks, and try a freestyle set. See how that works. See if it works when you have a cue point that shows you where your transition begins. I mean, for me, it's different. I came from a different style. So if you're coming from prepared sets, it's not going to be that easy to just start playing freestyle, because you're going to go way out your comfort zone. So try it out. Try it out. See if it works for you. And remember that there's no bad. If you feel that the freestyle thing isn't working for you, then don't do it. Another good tip though, you can freestyle DJ, but in your set, your freestyle set, you could have little prepared parts. So imagine you have a mix, like 2 or 3 songs. You prepare that because you love the way those tracks fit. And you make a couple of those short prepared mixes. And within your freestyle set, once you decide to play that one track, you play the whole prepared little package. You play those 3 tracks. So you're playing freestyle, but in that freestyle set, you will have a couple of pieces that are prepared. Or start out with the first 4 tracks, a prepared set that you prepare at home. So you have a strong start that will give you extra confidence to try out some stuff after that. And you might have already won the crowd with that first little prepared mix. Those are all little tricks you can try out if you're coming from prepared style DJing and you want to try freestyle DJing. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone out there has any questions about freestyle DJing, you know where to reach me, DJTLMTV at DJTLM.com. And make sure you click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I will be back with a new Q&A on Friday. And I did receive a lot of questions about tutorials. I hope to find some time soon to start working on new mix and scratch tutorials as well. But I'm still in the middle of that tour, and it is eating up a lot more time than I was expecting. So whenever I can, I will. So stick with me. All right, guys, practice, share the knowledge, and most of all, have a lot of fun when you're DJing. Peace.